Hi folks, it's Ashley here. So the purpose of this video is to address a few things. First, I wanted to address the internet connectivity issues that we've been having if you are someone here in Davis. So as many of you know, last Thursday our internet went out. And many of us were not able to hold our classes. And our internet here, at least at my house, was out for the majority of the day, which I know was disruptive for us on our end in terms of teaching and our kids in terms of homeschool. And I imagine many of you experienced the same thing. Interestingly, so today is Monday, and our internet is once again down, and it looks to be down in all of Davis. So what I am going to be doing hopefully is I should be able to tether my computer to my phone, which is supposed to work in theory, although the last time we had the internet outage, it did not work. And so far today, I've had no luck in getting on the internet by tethering to my phone. So anyways, remains to be seen what happens with our internet. And certainly if we experience yet another outage in this coming week, Professor Lenoir and I will connect to sort of figure out how we're going to handle section meetings and lectures moving forward. So there may need to be some flexibility if we end up realizing that our internet connectivity is not reliable enough to be able to meet together synchronously. So stay tuned on that. We're hoping for the best. In terms of your assignment for this week, we've been talking in section all the way along. Actually, before I move on to close the loop on that last thought, if you are in my Thursday section, what I'd like you to do is go on to our Canvas site and go to the Zoom recordings. And I want you to watch the Tuesday section. Because essentially, I've been posting both the Tuesday and the Thursday every week, but because of the internet problems last week, there was no Thursday. Essentially, each section is covering the same kinds of materials. We're going through the same sort of plan. So in this case, I think our best bet is to have folks watch that Tuesday recording. And, again, we're going to hope that we're up and running for this week. Okay, so getting back to what I was saying, your writing assignment for this week is going to be a little bit different than they've been in previous weeks. Now, in our section meetings, we've been talking quite a lot about the final project, what people have done in the past. I've been able to show some examples. So for those of you who were not able to see those, the final project, you have the option to either do it as a media project or as a paper. We find with this class, given that it's a media theory class, that most people decide to do the media project, the video. And that's really exciting for us because we're in this department and we're teaching this specific class, we have a lot of sort of, freedom to explore different mediums, right? And so that's something we really like to encourage people to do. Now, if you're someone who feels like you really want to write the paper, that's also totally fine. Again, this is mostly review, but I want to make sure that it's all here in one place so that the folks who weren't able to access, the recordings online can find it all in one place together. So for this final project, it's totally fine to work on your own, but we do encourage you to work in groups. And what I've been finding, throughout the weeks and as we've been doing the sections, that there are some really interesting kind of clusters of interest, you might say. So I know a lot of folks are thinking about how COVID is impacting our participation with media. And so that's become kind of a unifying theme across, I would say, maybe even 80% of the projects. So some other really interesting clusters that I've noticed have been TikTok, Zoom, and Animal Crossing. So those are all some interesting, just unexpected clusters, some of which I've seen. I've never read one of these on TikTok explicitly before, but other social media platforms, yes. So it's really interesting to see how these sort of even just in the space of a year, which was the last time I TA'd this class, how much has changed in terms of the platforms that we're engaging with and the sort of necessary level of engagement with media, right? That we have to do to function every day. So I would really encourage you all to connect, to continue talking in your groups. It's been really nice to see how the breakout rooms have been going in section. And I've really enjoyed, hopping into many of those rooms and seeing and hearing you all really, engaged in dialogue and bouncing ideas off of each other and coming together and forming groups and so forth. So that's been really cool. And I know that was something that sort of was difficult to figure out how to accomplish given the interface that we're using for learning this quarter. But I've been pleased to see the pockets where that is really still happening in this digital space. So groups are encouraged. If you are going to have more than 2 to 3 people in your group, please check in with me, because there's space for that for sure, but we will need to adjust some of the requirements. For example, it wouldn't make sense to require a group of 4 or 5 people to do a 10 to 15 minute video if that's what we're requiring of groups of 2 to 3. So let's just connect if you've got ideas. There's a lot of flexibility, but it's good to be in conversation. So this week is really going to start, it's going to be the first in sort of a series of paced assignments throughout the rest of the quarter, where we're really walking you through how to create these media projects or the papers. So the task for this week is going to be really to start to narrow down the area that you want to focus on, right, for your final project. So again, many of you have really narrowed it down. TikTok, Animal Crossing, again, Zoom, the COVID stuff, glitchy connections, and so forth, right? All of these kinds of themes really are pretty focused. You're going to want to drill them down more, but for right now, that's basically what I'm asking you to do. What I'd like you to do for this week, and it's going to be explained also in the written prompt under the assignment, but what I'd like you to do this week is really write me about a paragraph about where you're at in terms of your final topic. If you've got it narrowed down to one, media or platform or approach or methodological sort of orientation, let me know that. Maybe you're thinking to yourself, I don't know, I've got it narrowed down to 2. Great. Give me 2 paragraphs then. Give me 1 paragraph on the first and 1 paragraph on the second. They don't have to be long, but give me an idea of what you're thinking about. These will be responses that I read. And based on your responses, I'll be grouping you into different breakout rooms as we move forward. So you're going to be with people who are thinking along the same lines, either in terms of their actual media object or, again, in terms of their theoretical orientation or methodological approach. So the groups may be kind of based on different things, but I'm going to pull you into groups that I think will be effective in terms of collaboration as you move forward. And one other thing I'd like you to include in that writing is if you're already in a group with other folks, let me know who they are, and everyone please submit one. So if you're in a group of 4 people, don't just have one person submit it. Everyone you can submit 4 of the same thing, that's fine. But make sure you all submit it so that I can grade that more easily. I would hate to not give someone credit for the work that they've done, right? So let's make that easy. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about the requirements. We've talked about what I'm asking of you this week. Now, there's a third scenario here. So on the one hand, you may know exactly what you're doing. On the other hand, you may have it narrowed down to 2. We've kind of covered those scenarios. So what if you're a person who's thinking, I have no idea what I want to do at all? Well, what I'm going to ask you to do is look through the syllabus, and then I'm going to ask you to do a little experimenting. Go online, open your cell phone, look at the apps that you're using most frequently, right? Or look at the platforms that you're using for learning right now. I'm going to really ask you to make a commitment to narrowing it down to at least 2 areas of potential areas of focus. And the reason that I'm asking that, and some of you are way beyond this, and if you are, that's great, go into it more. Like, you can let me know who you're planning to draw on in terms of theorists or the readings that have been assigned or the viewings. That's great. If you're already there, then use this opportunity to give me more information, because then I can give you more feedback. But again, if you're a person who doesn't know what you're doing, this is the moment where I'm going to say, all right, let's make a choice. It can still change. It can still change if you find something that you think is like awesome. That's great. Let's just be in communication about that. What else is there to say about this? Oh, yes. So the reason that I'm asking you all to do this at this point is that from here on out, again, I'm going to be putting you into more specific groups, but also the assignments that I'm going to give you on a weekly basis are going to really build from this point. So I want us all to at least be at the same sort of starting line. Some of you may be already going down the track, and that's fine, but I want us all to at least have like a baseline starting point. So what this means is that this week you're going to be asked to narrow down your topic. Next week, your assignment is going to look something like thinking through some sort of thesis workshop document, right? So one that I've used in the past that I got from Chris Fallon in film studies was the magic thesis document. And so it's sort of been modified for different classes that I've TA'd for over the last couple of years. But it's a really helpful document, and it works quite well whether you're doing a paper or you're doing a media project. Now, at that point, I may kind of group you into, after we get through the thesis sort of idea, I might group you into, folks who are doing the paper and folks who are doing the media project. And then your assignments will look a little bit different moving forward. But that's the thought for this week. I would encourage any of you who have questions or just want to connect for more than the few minutes that I can spend in your breakout room during section. I would encourage you all to email me to set up a time to meet in office hours. Right now, my office hours are Wednesdays 3 to 5. There is some flexibility if you are not able to meet during that time. Again, just send me an email. It's also fine to meet as a group. So if you're working in a group of, say, 2 or 3 people and you all want to meet with me at the same time, we can easily do that over Zoom. And that might be a way to kind of consolidate our efforts and all be on the same page. So let me know if you have any questions. Again, thank you for your patience with the technology issues. I'm excited to see what you all have to say in terms of what you're thinking about for your topics. And I'm excited to move forward and really kind of dig into some of these really cool areas of focus. If you have any questions, email. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. That'll be for lecture, and then we'll hop into our section meetings at 10. The links should all be there. They should all be up. Again, I'll be in touch if there end up being any more connectivity issues. Sounded like things were supposed to be up and running by 4:30 or so today. So hopefully that will hold. Okay, folks, I hope you are all well and are taking care of yourselves and each other. Okay, bye.